Confirmation bias?
Tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information that confirms our prior beliefs. Counter, deliberately seek disconfirming evidence.
Anchoring bias?
Over-relying on the first piece of information, the anchor. Counter, generate your own estimate before seeing the anchor.
Availability heuristic?
Judging probability by how easily examples come to mind. Counter, ask what's the actual base rate.
Sunk cost fallacy?
Continuing because of past investment, not future expected value. Counter, ask if I were starting fresh today, would I do this?
Survivorship bias?
Drawing lessons only from winners while ignoring those who failed. Counter, study failures with equal rigor.
Dunning-Kruger effect?
Low-skill individuals overestimate ability, experts underestimate, because they realize what they don't know. Counter, calibrate against external feedback.
Halo effect?
One positive trait colors overall judgment of a person/product. Counter, evaluate attributes separately and weight explicitly.
Recency bias?
Weighing recent events more heavily than older ones. Counter, longer time windows in your analysis.
Bandwagon effect?
Adopting beliefs because many others do. Counter, independent first principles thinking.
Loss aversion?
Losses feel 2 times more painful than equivalent gains. Counter, frame decisions symmetrically and pre-commit to thresholds.
Framing effect?
Same outcome described as gain versus loss produces different choices. Counter, restate the problem from multiple frames before deciding.
Hindsight bias?
I knew it all along. Past outcomes seem more predictable than they were. Counter, keep a pre-mortem journal, write predictions before events.
Self-serving bias?
Crediting success to self, failure to circumstance. Counter, ask a trusted critic for their version.
Fundamental attribution error?
Attributing others' behavior to character, our own to circumstance. Counter, ask what situation might explain this.
Status quo bias?
Preferring the current state for its own sake. Counter, ask if today's state didn't exist, would we create it?
Endowment effect?
Valuing things more once we own them. Counter, imagine selling, what would you pay if you didn't already own it?
Negativity bias?
Bad events impact us more than equivalent good ones. Counter, deliberately log small wins to calibrate.
Confabulation?
Generating a plausible explanation for behavior whose real cause is unknown to us. Counter, get curious about your own reasoning.
Planning fallacy?
Underestimating time/cost of future tasks despite past experience to the contrary. Counter, use reference class forecasting, compare with similar past projects.
Optimism bias?
Believing we're less likely to experience negative events than others. Counter, cite base rates explicitly.
Outcome bias?
Judging a decision by its outcome rather than its quality at the time. Counter, separate process from outcome in retrospectives.
Anchoring in negotiation?
First offer sets the anchor for the deal. Counter, come with your own well-justified anchor, don't let the other side anchor first.
Curse of knowledge?
Experts assume audience knows what they know. Counter, have a non-expert review your communications.
IKEA effect?
We overvalue things we built ourselves. Counter, get blinded reviews.
False consensus effect?
Overestimating how much others share our views. Counter, survey or ask explicitly.
Authority bias?
Overweighting input from authority figures regardless of relevance. Counter, separate identity from argument quality.
Bystander effect?
People less likely to help in groups, assume someone else will. Counter, assign explicit responsibility.
Choice overload?
Too many options can paralyze decisions and reduce satisfaction. Counter, pre-filter to 3 to 5 finalists.
Mere exposure effect?
Familiarity increases liking. Counter, blind testing for objective evaluation.
Selection bias?
Sample isn't representative of the population. Counter, trace how subjects entered your data, randomize where possible.
Base rate neglect?
Ignoring overall frequency in favor of vivid individual cases. Counter, compute Bayesian posterior with both base rate and evidence.
Gambler's fallacy?
Believing past random events affect future ones, e.g., red is due. Counter, each event is independent, trust the math.
Hot hand fallacy?
Believing streaks predict more of the same in independent events. Some debate exists in performance domains. Counter, test against random shuffles.
Pareidolia?
Seeing patterns where none exist, faces in clouds, signals in noise. Counter, holdout test data, require statistical significance.
Narrative fallacy?
Crafting coherent stories that explain randomness. Counter, ask what would falsify the narrative.
Backfire effect?
Disconfirming evidence sometimes strengthens beliefs. Counter, don't argue facts to entrenched views, build trust plus curiosity first.
Anchoring on round numbers?
Estimates cluster on multiples of 5 or 10 even when more precise values are warranted. Counter, force odd intermediate guesses.
Decoy effect?
Adding an inferior option shifts preference between two others. Counter, evaluate options on their own merits.
Common mitigation across biases?
Slow down, write down assumptions, generate alternatives, seek disconfirming data, get a second opinion.
What is confirmation bias?
The tendency to search for, interpret, and recall information that confirms one's existing beliefs.
How to counter confirmation bias?
Actively seek disconfirming evidence, ask what would change my mind.
What is the anchoring effect?
Heavy reliance on the first piece of information offered, the anchor, when making decisions.
Classic anchoring experiment?
Tversky and Kahneman's Wheel of Fortune, an arbitrary number influenced subsequent estimates of African UN representation.
What is the availability heuristic?
Judging probability by how easily examples come to mind, vivid events feel more common than they are.
Example of availability heuristic?
Overestimating shark attack risk after seeing news coverage, despite tiny actual frequency.
What is the representativeness heuristic?
Judging probability by similarity to a stereotype, ignoring base rates.
Linda the bank teller example?
Subjects rated Linda is a feminist bank teller more probable than Linda is a bank teller, conjunction fallacy.
What is the conjunction fallacy?
Believing two specific events are more probable than one general event violates basic probability.
What is base rate neglect?
Ignoring overall frequency in favor of specific case features.
What is the Dunning-Kruger effect?
Low-skill people overestimate ability, high-skill people often underestimate theirs.
Origin of Dunning-Kruger?
Justin Kruger and David Dunning, Cornell, 1999, based on tests in logic, grammar, humor.
What is hindsight bias?
After learning an outcome, believing you knew it all along distorts memory of prior uncertainty.
How to counter hindsight bias.
Write down predictions and reasoning before outcomes, review later honestly.
What is survivorship bias?
Focusing on successful examples while ignoring failed ones, leading to false conclusions about what works.
Classic survivorship bias example?
Abraham Wald's World War II airplane analysis, armor where returning planes weren't hit, since hits there meant non-return.
What is selection bias?
Sample doesn't represent population because of how it was chosen, distorts inferences.
What is the sunk cost fallacy?
Continuing to invest in a losing project because of past investment, rather than future expected value.
Real-world sunk cost example?
Continuing to read a boring book because you're halfway through, past time is irrelevant to remaining value.
What is loss aversion?
Losses feel roughly twice as painful as equivalent gains feel good, Kahneman, Tversky.
Prospect theory connection?
Loss aversion is a core component of prospect theory, describes how people value gains versus losses.
What is the endowment effect?
People value something more once they own it, willingness to accept, willingness to pay.
Mug experiment for endowment effect?
Netsch's experiment, people demanded 2 times the price to sell a mug they'd just been given.
What is status quo bias?
Preference for the current state of affairs, change feels riskier than staying put.
What is the default effect?
People disproportionately choose the default option. Organ donation rates differ enormously by opt-in versus opt-out.
What is choice overload?
Too many options decrease likelihood of choosing and satisfaction with any choice made.
Sheena Iyengar's jam experiment?
24 jams in a tasting display drew more browsers, 6 jams produced 10 times more purchases.
What is the paradox of choice?
Barry Schwartz's book, More Options Can Reduce Well-Being Through Regret, Decision Fatigue, and Inflated Expectations.
What is the framing effect?
The same information can lead to different decisions depending on how it's presented.
Classic framing experiment?
Tversky and Kahneman's Asian disease, same outcomes framed as gains versus losses produced opposite choices.
What is the negativity bias?
Negative information is processed more deeply and remembered longer than positive.
What is the spotlight effect?
Overestimating how much others notice your appearance, mistakes, or behavior.
Gilovich's spotlight experiment?
Subjects wearing embarrassing t-shirts thought 46% noticed, actual was 23%.
What is the illusion of transparency?
Believing your internal states, nervousness, deception, are more visible to others than they are.
What is fundamental attribution error?
Attributing others' behavior to character while attributing your own to circumstance.
What is the actor-observer asymmetry?
You explain your behavior by situation, you explain others' behavior by personality.
What is the just world fallacy?
Believing the world is fundamentally fair, bad things happen to bad people, so victims must deserve it.
What is the bandwagon effect?
Adopting beliefs or behaviors because many others have, social proof gone wild.
What is groupthink?
Group members prioritize harmony over critical evaluation, leading to poor collective decisions.
Janice's classic groupthink examples?
Bay of Pigs invasion, Vietnam escalation, Challenger disaster, all suffered from groupthink dynamics.
What is the false consensus effect?
Overestimating how much others share your beliefs, preferences, or behaviors.
What is the false uniqueness effect?
Underestimating how common your good qualities or abilities are.
What is the IKEA effect?
People value things more when they had a hand in creating them.
What is the not invented here syndrome?
Aversion to ideas, tools, or methods from outside one's group or company.
What is the planning fallacy?
Underestimating time, costs, and risks of future actions while overestimating benefits.
Why does the planning fallacy persist?
People focus on the specific plan rather than reference class data from similar past projects.
Reference class forecasting solution?
Bet Flivjerg estimate based on actual outcomes of similar past projects, not bottom-up details.
What is optimism bias?
Believing one's own future will be better than average, present in roughly 80% of people.
What is the overconfidence effect?
Subjective confidence in one's judgments exceeds accuracy.
What is the bias blind spot?
Recognizing biases in others while believing oneself to be relatively unbiased.
What is naive realism?
Belief that one sees the world objectively, and disagreement comes from others' ignorance or bias.
What is curse of knowledge?
Once you know something, hard to imagine not knowing it, leads to poor explanations for novices.
What is hyperbolic discounting?
Preferring smaller immediate rewards over larger delayed ones, with steep early decay.
Marshmallow test connection?
Michel's classic study, kids who delayed gratification correlated with later outcomes, effect somewhat overstated.
What is present bias?
Giving disproportionate weight to the immediate future over the longer term.
What is the effect heuristic?
Letting current emotions shape judgments about risks and benefits.
What is mood congruent memory?
Recalling memories matching current emotional state, sad mood retrieves sad memories.
What is the recency bias?
Overweighting recent events when forming judgments or predictions.
What is primacy effect?
First information received disproportionately shapes overall impression.
What is the halo effect?
One positive trait, attractiveness, friendliness, spilling into unrelated judgments, intelligence, competence.
What is the horn effect?
Opposite of halo, one negative trait coloring all other judgments.
What is the contrast effect?
Judgments shifted by comparison with recent stimuli, middling salary feels low after seeing high anchors.
What is the decoy effect?
Adding a third worse option changes preference between original two, used heavily in pricing.
The Economist subscription decoy?
Print only at $125 made print and digital at $125 look like a steal, boosted that choice from 16% to 84%.
What is anchoring in negotiation?
The first number proposed strongly influences the final agreement.
First offer effect?
Making the first offer typically anchors the negotiation in your favor, contrary to common advice.
What is reactance?
Restricting choice triggers desire to restore the lost option, counter pressure to perceived control loss.
What is the Streisand effect?
Trying to suppress information dramatically increases attention to it.
What is the boomerang effect?
Persuasion attempt that produces the opposite of the intended belief.
What is the third-person effect?
Believing media or persuasion affects others more than oneself.
What is naive cynicism?
Expecting more self-interested behavior from others than actually occurs.
What is the just noticeable difference, JND?
Weber's law, smallest perceivable difference between two stimuli, proportional to baseline.
What is the peak-end rule?
Judgments of past experiences are dominated by peak emotion and how they ended.
Kahneman's colonoscopy study?
Slightly extending discomfort with a milder ending led to better rated experience, peak end at work.
What is duration neglect?
The length of an experience matters less than its peak intensity and ending.
What is loss aversion in price changes?
A $5 price increase feels worse than a $5 discount feels good. Frame matters.
What is the zero price effect?
Free disproportionately increases attractiveness, even when the calculation is rational.
What is the certainty effect?
Outcomes seen as certain are overweight relative to merely probable ones.
What is ambiguity aversion, Ellsberg paradox?
People prefer known risks to unknown ones, even at worse expected value.
What is illusion of control?
Overestimating one's influence over external events, especially random ones.
Why do people choose their own lottery numbers?
Illusion of control. Picking gives a sense of influence over an entirely random outcome.
What is the gambler's fallacy?
Believing past random events affect future probability. 5 reds in a row don't make black do.
What is the hot hand fallacy?
Believing a streak indicates real skill or momentum, sometimes a real effect, often illusory.
What is the gambler's fallacy of small numbers?
Tversky and Kahneman, expecting small samples to show statistical regularities found only in large samples.
What is the conjunction fallacy in trial settings?
Adding specific details to a story makes it feel more plausible despite being less probable.
What is the disjunction fallacy?
Underestimating the probability that one of several events happens, opposite of conjunction.
What is regression to the mean?
Extreme observations tend to be followed by less extreme ones, often misread as causal effects.
Sports Illustrated curse explained?
Cover athletes are often at performance peak, subsequent decline is regression, not jinx.
What is the cluster illusion?
Seeing patterns in random data, assuming clumping indicates a cause.
What is Texas sharpshooter fallacy?
Drawing the target after firing, selecting data to fit a narrative.
What is apophenia?
General tendency to see patterns, connections, or meaning in random data.
What is the narrative fallacy?
Constructing stories to explain past events that overstate causal coherence.
Taleb's narrative fallacy concern?
Stories that fit the past too neatly create false confidence in predicting the future.
What is the illusion of explanatory depth?
Believing you understand how something works in more detail than you actually do, until asked to explain.
What is the Forer-Barnum effect?
Accepting vague, general personality descriptions as uniquely accurate, basis of horoscopes.
What is the Pollyanna principle?
Tendency to remember pleasant information more accurately than unpleasant.
What is rosy retrospection?
Past events recalled more positively than they were experienced.
What is the impact bias?
Overestimating how long and how intensely future events will affect emotions.
What is effective forecasting error?
General term for predicting future emotional states poorly, usually overestimating impact.
What is the focusing illusion?
Nothing in life is as important as you think it is, while you are thinking about it. Kahneman.
What is the empathy gap?
Underestimating how much one's emotional state will differ from current state. Hot-cold empathy gap.
What is projection bias?
Assuming future preferences will be like current ones, planning meals while hungry.
What is the contrast principle in pricing?
Sequence anchors perception, showing a $5,000 watch first makes $500 watches seem reasonable.
What is psychological pricing? 99 cents.
Just below pricing creates perception of meaningfully lower cost via left digit effect.
What is the left digit effect?
Disproportionate attention to the leftmost digit, $4.99 feels much cheaper than $5.
What is the labor illusion?
Visible effort makes outcomes feel more valuable, even when no functional benefit exists.
What is the Hawthorne effect?
Knowing one is observed changes behavior, complicates field research.
What is the placebo effect?
Inert treatment produces real measurable effect via expectation alone.
What is the nocebo effect?
Negative expectations produce harmful effects from neutral exposures.
What is conformity bias?
Adjusting beliefs or behavior to match group norms, ash line experiments demonstrated.
Ash line experiment?
Solomon Asch showed 75% of subjects conformed to obviously wrong group answers at least once.
What is the bystander effect?
Presence of others reduces likelihood of any one person helping in emergency.
Kitty Genovese case?
1964 NYC murder that motivated bystander effect research. Later, original details were partly mythologized.
What is diffusion of responsibility?
Mechanism behind bystander effect. Individual responsibility feels diluted in groups.
What is obedience to authority?
Willingness to follow orders from perceived authority even against personal values. Milgram experiments.
Milgram experiment outcomes?
65% of subjects administered the maximum apparent shock when an authority figure instructed them.
What is the foot in the door technique?
Getting compliance with small request makes larger request more likely.
What is the door in the face technique?
Make a large request expecting refusal, then a smaller request seems reasonable.
What is reciprocity bias?
People feel obliged to return favors, even unsolicited or trivial ones.
What is commitment consistency bias?
People align future behavior with prior commitments, even costly ones.
What is the cocktail party effect?
Selective attention to one stream, your name in another conversation, while ignoring others.
What is inattentional blindness?
Failing to notice clearly visible things when focused elsewhere. The invisible gorilla experiment.
Invisible gorilla experiment?
Simons and Chabris, 50% of subjects watching basketball passes missed a person in a gorilla suit walking through.
What is change blindness?
Failing to detect changes in a visual scene, especially during interruptions or transitions.
What is automation bias?
Over-relying on automated systems even when they're wrong.
What is algorithm aversion?
People prefer human judgment over algorithms even when algorithms perform better.
Dietvorst's algorithm aversion findings?
Once an algorithm makes a visible error, people avoid it even if it's still better than human alternatives.
What is the WYSIATI principle?
What you see is all there is. Kahneman. System 1 builds stories from available info, ignoring what's missing.
What is the law of small numbers?
Treating small samples as if they represent the population. Tversky and Kahneman.
What is the regression fallacy?
Mistaking regression to the mean for a real causal effect, e.g., punishment working because pilots regressed anyway.
What is the conjunction effect in legal contexts?
Detailed criminal scenarios feel more likely than general ones, despite being mathematically less probable.
What is base rate neglect in medicine?
Ignoring base rate of disease can dramatically misjudge meaning of positive test, Bayes failures.
What is Bayes rule failure in everyday thinking?
Failing to update probabilities properly when new evidence arrives. Most people don't reason in Bayesian terms naturally.
What is the Texas sharpshooter fallacy in cancer clusters?
identifying a cluster after the fact in random spatial data. Without prior hypothesis, clusters are expected.
What is the post hoc fallacy?
Confusing sequence for causation. B happened after A, so A caused B.
What is the cum hoc fallacy?
Confusing correlation with causation when events occur together.
What is selection effect in surveys?
Self-selected respondents differ systematically from non-respondents, skews findings.
What is publication bias?
Studies with significant results more likely to be published, distorts apparent strength of evidence.
What is the file drawer problem?
Negative or null result studies stay unpublished. Meta-analyses can overestimate true effects.
What is p-hacking?
Adjusting analyses until p less than 0.05 produces apparently significant results that don't replicate.
What is the garden of forking paths?
Many small analytical choices, each defensible, that collectively raise false positive rates.
What is the replication crisis?
Many high-profile findings fail to replicate, calls for stricter pre-registration and methodology.
What is the social desirability bias?
Survey respondents skew answers toward what they think is socially acceptable.
What is the third variable problem?
Two correlated variables may both be caused by a hidden third. Apparent causal link is illusory.
What is regression dilution?
Measurement error in predictors biases regression towards zero, important in observational studies.
What is the look elsewhere effect?
Searching for patterns across many tests raises false positive risk, common in physics and finance.
What is the lottery paradox, philosophy?
You believe each ticket is unlikely to win, but believe one will exposes limits of probabilistic belief.
What is illusion of validity?
Confidence in predictions based on coherent stories, even when accuracy is low.
What is the cognitive ease bias?
Things easier to think about feel more true. Repetition, fluency, familiarity all boost perceived truth.
What is the illusory truth effect?
Repeated false statements are rated more true with each exposure.
What is the mere exposure effect?
Repeated exposure to a stimulus increases preference for it.
What is the Pollyanna asymmetry?
Positive recall outpaces accurate recall. People remember themselves as having held views consistent with current ones.
What is post-decisional dissonance?
After making a choice, you bias evaluation to support it, reduces the discomfort of trade-off.
What is the choice supportive bias?
Tending to remember chosen options as better and rejected options as worse than they were at the time.
What is the Ben Franklin effect?
A person who has done you a favor will do another more readily than someone you've done a favor for.
What is the Pygmalion effect?
Higher expectations from authority figures lead to higher performance, self-fulfilling prophecy in classrooms.
What is the Golem effect?
Low expectations from authority figures lead to lower performance, negative Pygmalion.
What is the just met them effect?
Initial impressions of new people stick longer than they should, primacy in person perception.
What is thin slicing?
Drawing accurate judgments from brief exposures, sometimes valid, sometimes biased pattern matching.
What is the cheerleader effect?
People appear more attractive in a group than alone, averaging effect in perception.
What is Goodhart's law and decisions?
When a measure becomes a target, it ceases to be a good measure. Metric gaming distorts decisions.
What is Campbell's law?
Stronger version: the more a quantitative indicator is used for decision-making, the more subject it is to corruption.
What is the McNamara fallacy?
Making decisions based solely on quantifiable factors and ignoring the immeasurable.
What is the moral licensing effect?
Doing one good deed makes people more likely to subsequently do something selfish or unethical.
What is the boomerang effect in messaging?
Persuasive messages that strongly conflict with beliefs can strengthen the opposing belief.
What is belief perseverance?
Maintaining a belief even after the evidence supporting it has been discredited.
What is the backfire effect?
Correcting misinformation can strengthen belief in it for some people, in some contexts. Recent research suggests this is rarer than once thought.
What is the ostrich effect?
Avoiding negative information, checking investment portfolios less when markets fall.
What is information avoidance?
Active choice not to learn information that might cause discomfort, even when free and useful.
How do nudges leverage biases?
Default settings, framing, social proof, and salience all shape behavior without removing options. Thaler and Sunstein.
What is libertarian paternalism?
Designing choice architecture that nudges better decisions while preserving freedom to choose.
What is the EAST framework?
UK Behavioral Insights Team. Easy, attractive, social, timely interventions for behavior change.
What is System 1 thinking?
Fast, automatic, intuitive, emotional, Kahneman's framing.
What is System 2 thinking?
Slow, deliberate, effortful, analytical, engages when System 1 hesitates or when prompted.
Why does System 1 dominate everyday cognition?
Cheaper energy cost, usually accurate enough. System 2 is the lazy backup checker.
What is thinking fast and slow debiasing strategy?
Slow down deliberately for high-stakes decisions. Let System 2 review System 1's conclusions.
What is a checklist as a debiasing tool?
Forces consideration of items you might forget. Atul Gawande popularized this in medicine.
What is a premonitum?
Imagining a project has failed and writing why surfaces risks before commitment.
What is red teaming?
Assigning a team to find flaws in a plan, institutional counter to confirmation bias.
What is the consider the opposite debiasing?
Deliberately constructing the strongest case against your current view reduces confirmation bias and overconfidence.
What is reference class forecasting practically?
Find similar past cases, look at their actual outcomes, anchor estimate on that distribution.
What is decision journaling?
Recording predictions and reasoning at decision time, reviewing later prevents hindsight bias and improves calibration.
What is calibration training?
Practicing probability estimates with feedback improves over time, used in forecasting and intelligence work.
What is Tetlock's superforecaster finding?
Top forecasters share traits: open-mindedness, granular probability estimates, willingness to update.
What is the outside view technique?
Solve what would a typical project, person, decision do before solving for your specific case.
What is the inside view?
Reasoning from project-specific details, usually over-optimistic without an outside view check.
What is decoupling?
Separating the merits of an argument from who's making it or how it makes you feel.
What is steelmanning?
Articulating the strongest possible version of an opposing view before responding to it.
What is epistemic humility?
Acknowledging the limits of your knowledge, staying open to being wrong.
What is intellectual honesty?
Updating beliefs based on evidence rather than wanting them to be true.
What is the most important question debiasing?
What would I need to see to change my mind? Clarifies whether you're reasoning or rationalizing.
What is the deepest practical takeaway about biases?
Biases are universal, knowing about them doesn't eliminate them. Systematic processes work better than willpower.